You can also filter down courses by top-ranked universities in your preferred destination and their rankings. Browse through various career choices. And you can also browse through free student resources like articles on tips to study abroad, the latest news, etc. We are here to support you with every step of your study abroad journey. To explore your course options, visit search.aecc.global.com.
Okay, good afternoon, friends of aecc Global. Welcome to the live session today, hari Senin 4 Oktober 2021. Nama saya Lani, saya dari aecc Global, your host this afternoon. Bersama saya ada Kim Boyle, the Regional Manager of Trinity College Dublin, live from Dublin, Ireland, hari ini. Jadi teman-teman, dalam 1 jam ke depan, kita juga akan mempunyai interactive session mengenai why you should study in Ireland. Studying abroad is a big step in our life. So many things to ask and so many things to prepare and also so many things to be considered. Ya. So, teman-teman jangan lupa silahkan ketik pertanyaan Anda dalam bahasa Indonesia, oke, dalam bahasa Inggris juga oke untuk memulai studi Anda di Ireland. Dan kami akan mencoba menjawab pertanyaan yang masuk bersama-sama dengan Kim Boyle pada saat dia juga akan menerangkan mengenai banyak hal. Dalam 1 jam ke depan, Kim akan bicara mengenai Ireland. She will talk about the Trinity College of Dublin. Jadi, without further ado, let's pass the screen on to Miss Boyle to introduce about yourself, about Ireland, and also about Trinity College of Dublin.
Thank you, Lani, and thank you everyone for taking the time to be here today to learn all about our wonderful destination and university. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen so you can see my slides. Just going to put it on full screen. I hope you can see the full screen there. So we're opening with a beautiful aerial shot of our lovely city centre, historic campus right in the heart of Dublin. And you can see my details there. So I'm Kim Boyle, the Regional Manager for Southeast Asia and Oceania. And my email address is there. And I've also put in a link to our COVID-19 frequently asked questions section of our website, where if you have any queries about the handling of the pandemic or where we're at right now, about students' arrivals this year and how that was handled, you can find all that out on our arrivals and FAQ website. So I'm going to open up by pointing out maybe you might know some of these famous faces and names, some of our famous and notable alumni that have walked on the cobblestones of Trinity in the past. So we're proud to boast that we have 2 Nobel Prize winning scientists as notable alumni, Ernest Walton, who's known for splitting the atom, and Sir William Campbell, who found a cure for river blindness. We also have many literary giants and writers, and studying in Ireland and at Trinity really lends itself to the romanticism of literature. So Jonathan Swift, who wrote Gulliver's Travels, Oscar Wilde, who wrote many novels and plays, Samuel Beckett, who won a Nobel Prize for Literature, and then some of the more modern writers of popular culture, the writers of the TV show Game of Thrones, met at Trinity. And they were actually studying two different programs, and they met through one of our societies. So it just goes to show through the things you get involved in, even outside of your program, that could potentially determine what you go on to do after you finish your studies, which is exciting to know. It's good to tell you a little bit about Ireland as a destination, and then I just have a video. It tells you a little bit more about our culture and our landscape and what you can expect if you were to come and live and study in our wonderful country. You might wonder, where is Ireland located? Well, we're on the western tip of Europe, right next door to the UK. It's not as difficult to get to Ireland as you might think. We do have a large, we look like a small island. We have a large international airport, but many daily direct international flights. If you were to come from Jakarta, typically, which I've done on numerous occasions, I usually transit through one stop, either in the Gulf States, in the Middle East, or through continental Europe or the UK. We're only 1 hour flight from many of the cities in the UK, and a 1.5 to 2 hour flight from anywhere in continental Europe as well. So even though we're right next door to the UK and we share a lot of similarities with the UK, we are different from the UK, and that's important to note that we do have different education policies and a different way of doing things. For example, I get asked a lot, are we part of UCAS, which we are not. We have our own application systems and education procedures, so that's just important to note. So why study in Ireland and why choose Ireland as a destination? Well, we're renowned for being very friendly, safe and welcoming, and we consistently rank in the top 10 in the world for being very peaceful. We have a small population of about 4.5 million people, and about 1 million are in Dublin, the capital city. There are actually 80 million people worldwide who claim Irish heritage. So in actual fact, you may have met an Irish person or someone with Irish heritage before, because we're scattered all over the world. We speak English as our main language. We use the euro as a currency, which makes it very convenient for traveling around continental Europe as well. And our students love to have that experience when they come. We have a long tradition in education excellence, and we are the first in Europe for the completion of third level education. So we have a strong focus in education in Ireland, and the education systems are very good and of a very high quality. We produce a highly skilled workforce that is very much sought after by many leading global companies that have come and set up in Ireland over the last number of decades. And this in turn has created a very innovative and creative culture, as many cottage industries have sprung up around these global companies to service them. So it's an exciting time to work or study or live in Dublin with this innovative and creative culture that we have. And we are the fastest growing economy in Europe as well. And we do offer very welcoming, transparent stay-back visas that are easy and straightforward to avail of. Our undergraduate students are allowed to stay back for 1 year and work after studies. And our postgraduate students are allowed to stay back and work for 2 years after studies. And you don't need to have a critical skill to avail of this visa, and you could be potentially looking for a job in your field while you avail of the visa as well. So you don't necessarily need to have a job offer either. Now, just to note, if you do have any questions, you can drop them in the chat box, but I will come to them at the end because I may answer your questions during the presentation. So you can see here why Dublin, our capital city. On the right-hand side, we have a lovely aerial shot of the city. It's different to many cities that you'll find around the world. We're very flat. We don't have the high-rise buildings that you find in many cities. It's not polluted or congested. It's easy to get around on foot or by bicycle. It's quite a compact city centre. And the university is situated right in the heart of the city centre, and it's a walled campus. So it's very unique. It's got beautiful historical buildings coupled with many 21st century modern state-of-the-art facilities as well, but it's all in the one location. And within the walls, you have this very leafy, peaceful, tranquil and collegiate type of atmosphere that would remind you of an Ivy League type of institution. But then you step outside the walls of the campus and you've got Dublin on your doorstep. And our students love to take advantage of having the city on their doorstep with all these museums, theatres, art galleries, restaurants, cafes and shopping districts. It's a very young, friendly European capital, very safe and one of the best student cities in the world. We have the Global Tech Hub on our doorstep. Dublin is known as the Silicon Valley of Europe because we have so many tech companies based here. It's easy to connect by bus or rail, even to get out of the city. If you want to see the rest of the country, you could be across the country in about 2.5 hours on what we call the Wild Atlantic Way, which is a very different type of landscape to the east of the country. It's very wild, very rugged, and it's been used in many TV shows and films. We have a very strong film and TV industry here in Ireland because of our lovely landscape and the microenvironment that's been set up for filming here as well. It is the gateway to continental Europe. As I said, we have the international airports about half an hour from the main campus, and our students would love to take advantage of that, and they get a cheap, quick flight on Friday evening, maybe to Rome, Paris, or Madrid, and be back in the Sunday night for their classes on the Monday morning. And then you can be out of the city. We've the largest green park in Europe right on our doorstep, and we've forests, mountains, beaches, all within half an hour of the city centre. So you can get out of the city if you want, get into nature really quickly, and just have a break from the city. It's very, very convenient. I have a video to show you. It tells you a little bit more about Trinity, our past, more about our famous alumni, and where we're planning to go in the future as well.
Inspiration has lived here since 1592, and more than 400 years later, it's still going strong. Inspiration has helped burgeoning writers put pen to paper and given world leaders a head start. It has set the stage for budding playwrights and created characters that will never die. For countless actors who started here, inspiration has played a part. Work done in Trinity helped split the atom, battled cancer, and guided man's first giant leap. From here, we've inspired people around the world. But even with this proud history, we are firmly focused on the future. Today, we are making new discoveries and inspiring the next generation of history makers.
So a little bit more about Trinity, the university. We were founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth I under the same legal charter as Oxford and Cambridge, and we offer a similar model of education today. We've managed to maintain our reputation to stay as Ireland's #1 university and 101 in the world on the QS rankings. We're the first in Europe for educating entrepreneurs for 5 years in a row. This is because we have a strong focus on innovation entrepreneurship in the college, because of our relationship with industry and the amount of investment that's been put in over the last number of years. We've performed very well in this area. We're also a research intensive university. So that means we have very high research outputs. We're the only Irish university who's a member of LERU, a prestigious league of European research universities. And of all the research funding that is awarded to Ireland from the European Union, Trinity wins 50% of that. So we do very well when it comes to packing a punch in research. You can have a very successful research career if that's something that you're interested in. We're the 8th most international university in the world, according to the Times Higher, which is something we're very proud of. About 40% of our staff come from other countries, and nearly 30% of our student body also come from other countries. And we consider ourselves comprehensive. So when you look at all our course options, we have nearly 600 to choose from across all of our faculties and skills. So this is the way the university is structured. We have 3 faculties and 24 schools. It's easier to say what we don't offer than what we do offer because we offer so much. So I typically get asked, we offer veterinary science, hospitality, architecture, and studio art. And these would be the main subjects that we don't offer, but we offer everything and anything else in between. And it really doesn't matter what you come to study at Trinity, whether it's biology or chemistry, classics or English, education or pharmacy, law or languages. All of our subjects do very well in the world rankings. We have 18 subjects in the top 100 and 4 in the top 50. So it doesn't matter what faculty or school you come to study at, you're going to get a quality education. And we're not typically renowned for any one thing. A lot of people do associate us with arts, humanities, classics, and English, and the campus really lends itself to that type of liberal arts type of education. But you can rest assured we do extremely well in STEM and health sciences as well. Now, I wonder if you've seen a picture of this library before. It is very famous, and it is the Trinity Library, and it is situated right in the heart of our campus. We attract a lot of visitors because it's so beautiful, and it typically ranks in the top 3 tourist destinations in Ireland, which is important for us because it's an important income generator for the college. And even some students come as a tourist or visit the library and they fall in love with the campus, with the library, and they decide, I really want to study here at Trinity, and they make that happen. And so it's nice to hear that from our students. One of our more famous visitors who was so inspired by the library was George Lucas of the Star Wars franchise, and he decided to model the Jedi Library in his more modern Star Wars movies on our library. So any Star Wars fans would be interested to know that. The most important thing to note, though, is that it is a working library. It is the largest library in Ireland, and we have over 6 million items, books and resources for students to tap into and to choose from as part of their education. And we are a legal depository, and that means we get a copy of every book printed in Ireland and the UK since 1801. And many of our students who come to study, depending on the programme that you pick, may have the opportunity to do an archive project on one of our many beautiful manuscripts in the library. So the way the university is structured, we have our own foundation programme with 2 pathways to choose from. All of our bachelor's programmes are 4 years long across the 3 faculties, and we have common entry types of programmes, combination programmes, and specialised programmes as well. We do offer some 5-year professional programmes. Computer science, engineering, and medicine are optional, and dental science and medicine are mandatory 5-year programs. All of our postgraduate programs are 1 year long across the 3 faculties, a calendar year with a dissertation involved. And then we offer the research options also. So I'm going to start by talking about our foundation program. Students who are coming from the Indonesian national curriculum will have to study this program, a year of this program first, before they can go into direct entry on a bachelor program. This program is taught at our affiliated college called Marino Institute of Further Education, which is situated about 5 kilometres from the main campus of Trinity. So you do it here in Dublin, and you get a Marino ID card and a Trinity ID card. So you can come to the main campus, use the facilities, attend events, attend activities, and it gives you a fantastic grounding into becoming a Trinity student. And many of our foundation students tend to do very well in the first year of the programme because they've had this grounding or this exposure. The programme is designed, delivered, and governed by Trinity academics. So we have full oversight on it, and that means that we have an excellent progression rate as well. So there's an arts and humanities pathway, and then a STEM and STEM and health science pathway. And there are 50 pathways altogether to choose from out of the 2 pathway programs. So We have a nice long list of programs to choose from if you were to study the foundation here in Dublin. I'm just going to talk a little bit about our undergraduate degrees. Just to mention our specialised business degree, which is akin to a typical international business degree, and it includes all the typical components of the business degree, including accountancy, economics, finance, marketing, strategy, people management, organisation management, and then innovation and entrepreneurship are key pillars of the degree. A whole floor of our new business school, which you can see a picture of on the right-hand side there, our new business school on our main campus, which just opened a number of years now. A whole floor is dedicated to innovation and entrepreneurship activities, which are run by an arm of the university called Tangent. Now, any student can get involved in Tangent. You don't have to be a business student per se. But this program has some nice flexibility within the program to blend academic excellence and industry experience, focus on both personal and professional development. The opportunity to develop foreign language, do an internship is there as well. But if you're looking for maybe a combination of programs, or you're not sure, you're looking for more liberal arts type degree or double major, we have what we call a joint honours. And this is where you study 2 subjects and you have flexibility within the subjects as to what you specialise in and when you specialise. And you don't necessarily have to specialise if you don't want to. You can do both subjects 50-50 for the entirety of the degree. So we have about 150 combinations across 13 schools. So there's a lot of choice there. For example, business can be studied with law, or it could be studied with computer science with another language. So we have some interfaculty options there as well. And then it can also be studied with business, economics and social studies. That's a common entry degree, the same as PPES, which is philosophy, political science, economics, social studies, which are both very popular programs. Just to mention our dual BA program with Trinity and Columbia University. This is where you study for 4 years, and you study 2 years at Trinity and 2 years at Columbia in the US, and you graduate with 2 degrees at the end. So it is a very academically rigorous program. It is quite competitive as well to get into. There are 11 program choices to choose from, and whatever you choose from Trinity, you choose one program that will determine what you get to go on and study in Columbia. So it's a truly international experience as well. It's really aimed at those of maybe the US or Europe and they can't make up their mind, and it's the best of both worlds. There's guaranteed accommodation for the full 4 years, very good institutional scholarships available as well. An American style application, it's managed through the School of General Studies in the US, and that's where you apply through. In Columbia, there is an essay writing involved, interview involved, and there's an early closing date as well. So just to mention about E3, this is a new initiative that we're rolling out, and it stands for Engineering, Environment and Emerging Technologies. And it's an umbrella term that covers 3 of our 24 schools: engineering, computer science and natural science. And what it is that we're taking a new multidisciplinary approach to these fields. We're opening up more places on our existing programs. We're developing new programs. We're building a new Learning Foundry building, which is due to open in 2023. And then we have new scholarships in this area as well. So this goes across both undergraduate and postgraduate and PhD, all of our fields. Just to mention some of our E3 programs that you might be interested in. So engineering is a specialised degree at Trinity, but you do have the option to do multidisciplinary a number of different programs within the engineering streams in year 1 and 2 before going on and specialising in year 3. Then you have the option to finish in year 4 with a research project and then graduate with your bachelor's, or you can go on and do the 5-year program, which you have an option to do a really nice guaranteed internship with industry in year 4. Then you do your capstone project in year 5 and you graduate with both a bachelor's and a master's. And that qualifies you to sign off on your own designs and also to register with the international bodies that represent engineers around the world. So one of our new degrees is environmental science and engineering. It follows the same engineering model of the program with the option of the 4-year or the 5-year program as well. You get all the same options. but you just do the common environmental science and environmental engineering modules in the first 2 years before you go on and specialize in one of those streams. So when it comes to natural science, we have 4 strands to choose from and 22 specializations across the 4 strands. Now, it's not easy to switch within strands, so we encourage you to really know the strand that you want to apply for, that you want to stick to. But once you're within the strand, you will have the option to do common science subject areas in the first 2 years again, and then you specialize in one science field for 3rd and 4th year. And you do have the option to do elective credits or open modules, which are credits from other departments and schools around the university, again, to broaden your understanding and give you exposure to multiple disciplines. Computer science and geography is a new joint honours degree that we have. It comes under the joint honours framework that I talked about previously, where you can study both subjects equally, but specialise in one subject over another, and you can exit with a joint honours degree or a major with a minor. So there's nice flexibility within the programme. And graduates from this course will be highly skilled and employable in industrial and governmental organisations. And then just finishing off on undergraduate programs, we do encourage all of our undergraduate students to undertake a study abroad or exchange with one of our many partners around the world. We have 300 exchange agreements. They're encouraged to do a semester or a year in the 3rd year of the program. Moving on to talk about our postgraduate options. So we're offering a new, and I'm saying in the E3 theme, we're offering a new Masters in Smart and Sustainable Cities. This new program is the first dedicated program of its kind, and it provides students with an in-depth understanding of smart and sustainable cities. We're running into a lot of issues with growing cities, growing populations right now around the world. So these graduates will be very sought after around the world because they'll have learned the tools of urban geography and planning. They can examine the spatial formation of smart cities. They can use engineering and computer science methods to analyze different functions and applications of smart technologies. So you're looking at ecology, you're looking at the environment, looking at climate change, green energy, all the components that are needed to create smart and sustainable cities. Then to talk about our School of Business, our 11 Masters in the School of Business are very popular. We do encourage an early application for all of these Masters because they're so popular, they get oversubscribed and they tend to close early. The different Masters have different requirements. Some of them you can come from any background, others you'll need to have a business degree or related discipline, such as economics. Some they'll want you to have a quantitative type of degree as well. So just be aware of what kind of requirements each master's needs. Even for the likes, you can be overqualified for a master's, for example. So for the likes of management, they want non-business students. So if you have a business degree, you won't be accepted onto management because it's more geared towards non-business students, but you would be more encouraged to apply for international management, where you could come and study with a business related degree, for example. So our Masters in Education is popular for students coming from the region that I look after. There are 11 strands to choose from within this Masters. The 2 most popular strands are language education and leadership and management in education. For language education, you can specialize in any language. It doesn't have to be English. We do have a separate English language teaching Masters. This Masters is really geared at those already working in the field of education as teachers or principals, either in a public or private setting, and for those who want to progress their careers or specialize in an area or build their CV. Most of the strands require 3 years work experience. The leadership and management education requires 5 years work experience in a related field. It doesn't qualify you to work in the public school setting here in Ireland. That's a whole different education stream here. But you will be qualified, if you wanted to stay on to work in the English language sector. It's big here and in the UK and around the world as well. And it really, it's a master's that's designed for you to go and progress in your own career back home as well. We've many popular arts and humanities programs and some new programs in the arts and humanities faculty as well. I mentioned English language teaching, we have literary translation, applied linguistics. Many of our law programs and our politics programs, international relations programs are popular as well. We have a nice new master's in law and business, which is inter-school, and then some other nice ones in digital humanities, history, and film as well. So we're emerging out of a pandemic, and we all know that our healthcare professionals have been working extremely hard, and they may be looking to maybe take some time out to do some further study or wanting to specialize in an area. And we have many options there to choose from in both our School of Nursing at postgraduate level and our School of Medicine as well. Now, we don't offer undergraduate nursing at Trinity because of an issue with practice placements, but we can offer postgraduate nursing. And then in the master's field in medicine, it's really, again, those already kind of working or qualified as medicine practitioners that are looking to specialize in an area. Global health, for one, is a popular master's. And we also have a School of Immunology and a School of Pharmacy that both offer very good masters in immunology or pharmacy as well. And we know that graduates right now, after emerging from the pandemic, are very much sought after in these fields. Just to tell you a little bit about our community, and you won't be the only Indonesian if you're to come to study at Trinity. We have a community of Indonesians who have had very happy, positive experiences as well. So don't worry, there are other students that have gone before you, both across the undergraduate, master's and PhD levels as well. We have 120 student societies and sports clubs to choose from. There's lots to get involved in. It's encouraged as part of student life. We have a very vibrant Southeast Asian society, and they're very active in the college. There's also the international network of Indonesian students called PPI, situated here in Ireland, and I know the community is very close as well, so you'll have that support to lean back on. We offer two of the oldest student societies in the world. Fill in the history, two debating societies. They're very influential and they attract a lot of high profile speakers. We have that dedicated space that I mentioned, Tangent, for entrepreneurship and innovation activities. All students are encouraging and can get involved in their activities. They do extracurricular programs for credit and help students start up campus companies to raise investment and raise capital. And they've helped student companies be very successful over the last number of years. We have a state-of-the-art sports centre with a 25-metre pool. You won't believe what you find in the city centre campus. Sports fields, tennis courts, cricket pitches, and it's all right in the city centre campus. We even have our own theatres, galleries, and museums. So when it comes to international student engagement, we have a dedicated space called the Global Room, and this is staffed by members of our team and 25 student ambassadors as well. And they can be communicated with directly. They provide a lot of support around immigration, visas, accommodation, and insurance. And they run our airport meet and greet and our welcome guide and orientation. They run extracurricular programs like being new to Dublin, where to shop, where to pray, you know, they do an Irish culture program as well, some extracurricular English if that's needed. And we have our International Student Society. You can go on excursions at the weekend and discover more of Ireland if you wanted to with them. Then we have our UniBuddy platform where you can go online and you can talk directly with students. Students love that, to have a peer-to-peer chat or support, and you can go online, you can do that directly with our Trinity students. Then you'll have access to all of the student supports that are available for all of our student body. Just to point out some, for example, we have a tutorial system for our undergraduate students where you're matched with a member of the academic community, and they're there to provide one-to-one confidential support around anything academic or personal or welfare related as well. You can be matched peer-to-peer with a student mentor, and this is a popular support network as well. And then you have access to all the other free services, health service, counselling service, learning support services, anything that you need help with, the help is there. There is a service to help you. When it comes to accommodation, all of our accommodation is apartment style living, and mostly single rooms with some twin rooms available as well. Then you have an ensuite bathroom, and then you have a shared living and kitchen space. And we have a number of different locations with some limited on-campus options. Most of our undergraduate students are housed at Trinity Hall, which is about 4 kilometres from the main campus. And then we have 2 city centre locations as well. All of our communities are gated, they have security, they have common areas as well. And even some of the locations have members of Trinity staff living there to look after the welfare of the students. All of our undergraduate students are guaranteed accommodation for first year at one of our locations. And so our Merino students for the foundation program, they're housed at Merino College as well. So when it comes to career path, you'll have the careers advisory service that you can tap into and access as part of all the other services that you have. We recommend that you get involved with them early, and they can help you with career planning, CV and interview preparation, internship placement assistance. You can work in Ireland as a student for up to 20 hours a week during term time, and 40 hours a week during holidays. And the minimum wage in Ireland is about €10 an hour. The stay back work visa is available for 1 year for undergraduate students and 2 years for postgraduate students, as I mentioned before. Trinity graduates are very much sought after. 95% of the graduates are in employment or further study within 6 months of finishing their studies. And then a study was done by the Irish Times and the Irish National Newspaper that found that Trinity graduates will earn 30% more than any other Irish graduate within 5 years of finishing their studies. So when it comes to career and employment and internship opportunities, we naturally get to work very closely with industry. You can see in the background is of the city centre, in the background is the Trinity campus, in the foreground is the new innovation district that we're building with the other HEIs in Ireland, with government and with industry as well. And then you can see where all the major companies are located, like Google, LinkedIn, Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, Dropbox. They're all within a stone's throw of the campus. So because of our location and our reputation, we have a very good, strong relationship with industry. Industry executives will help design our programs, teach our programs, give our students internships and graduate opportunities. We run careers workshops, seminars, fairs, mentoring. So there's a lot to tap into. So when it comes to the entrance requirements for Trinity, I've put in the entrance requirements for our 3 different levels in the foundation program, undergraduate and postgraduate. If you need support, I recommend connecting in with aecc, and they can provide you with extra support that you need. And I've put the English language requirements there as well, if required. So our applications are open from the 1st of November to 30th of June, and students apply directly on our courses website. Some programs do close early, so do bear that in mind, or because of popularity, they'll close early as well. We do offer pre-sessional English for undergraduate and postgraduate students who need the extra support. We have a program. When you apply for each program separately. There is a €55 application fee for every application. When you're applying, you just fill in the application form, the online form, and then you attach all the documents like your transcripts, English proficiency tests are required, you need 2 letters of recommendation, a short personal statement. We can give out conditional offers based on predicted grades or pending documents, pending English language, and offers are issued in 10 to 21 days. If your whole program, like your curriculum, has been delivered in English, and you can prove that either for high school or for your degree, moving on to postgraduate, you won't need to provide English language proficiency for admission purposes, but you may need it for visa purposes. And then we have our own system for our EU and domestic undergraduate students called the CAO, and they apply through that system. And then our non-EU medicine and dentistry students can apply through the Irish Universities Medical Consortium in KL, and this is encouraged within the region as well. You have more of a chance, there's lower fees, and there's a kind of quicker turnaround in applications as well. So we recommend that. When it comes to non-EU fees, I've put in the fee bracket there, depends on what program you're coming to study. Each program has a different fee band, and you can see the full fees at our fees and payment website. Then when you come to live in Dublin, you need an estimated €15,000 for an academic year. This includes your accommodation as well. When it comes to scholarships, there's the Global Excellence Scholarship for foundation, undergraduate and postgraduate students. It's a one-time tuition fee deduction of up to €5,000, and it's applicable to all students except medicine and dentistry. We have the specialised E3 scholarships as well, and they have some nice options at undergraduate and masters, and especially for the newer programs. The new Masters in Smart and Sustainable Cities had a scholarship of €10,000. And then our new undergraduate programs in computer science and geography and environmental science and engineering had a scholarship of €10,000 for the first year and €4,000 for every subsequent year after that. We're also DICTE approved for anyone coming through the DICTE scholarship body system in Indonesia. And then the Foundation Scholarship is our main undergraduate scholarship fund, where students take elective exams in the second year of their degree. And if they come out top of the class, they win discounted fees, free accommodation and meals on campus for up to 5 years. It's a very prestigious scholarship. There are other school-specific scholarships available, such as the business school. They have their own scholarship fund as well. And I would recommend going online and having a look and seeing what's available there. So you're not always going to be dealing with me, and I can be your main point of contact and I can put you in touch with other people, but you're also welcome to contact our Foundation Program Coordinator directly. Her name is Kleena if you have any queries. If you have any questions related to a postgraduate business program, they want to deal with your query directly, so I recommend contacting them. For E3 programs, you can contact my colleague Melanie. And once a student has submitted an application, any questions that you have related to your application, your offer, your documentation will be dealt centrally through our admissions office, and they're called Academic Registry. So they manage the admissions. Now, I don't do the admissions myself, but I am here to liaise. You can communicate directly with AR through the portal when you make an application. You can communicate through AECC, and they can communicate with me, and I can liaise and lobby on and advocate on your behalf as well. So that's the end of the presentation. I'm happy to take questions now. But before I do, I want to invite you to consider joining our strong network of 140,000 alumni across 158 countries. And don't be afraid to consider yourself becoming future famous or notable alumni of Trinity as well. I've put in my email address there, and then you can book an appointment one-to-one if you want to further discuss your options. And you can go through AECC for that as well.
Thank you so much, Kim.
You're welcome.
We do have one question in the question and answer box. It's about research. It's about research question, I think.
Yeah.
It's from Tommy. He'd like to ask about PhD or doctoral research program for management.
Yeah. We don't have any full e-learning, and the teaching in Trinity is very much encouraged to be in person on campus here. We offered some online options during the pandemic, but because our society is practically nearly fully reopened, by the end of October, our society is expected to be 100% fully reopened. We're encouraging all students to be here on campus and have as much in-person teaching and learning as possible. So most of our PhDs are structured PhD. So you will, you'll have a supervisor, you'll have the option to maybe you can try and pitch a proposal to a supervisor that in a field that you're interested in researching. you find a supervisor with a similar field, and you'll have a look at the Trinity research themes and see what we have funded at the moment and what areas we're funding. And then you can apply that way by directly contacting a supervisor and with your CV, research proposal, and a cover letter as well. And then we have like supervisors who are out there looking for PhD candidates in their chosen field. So you can see what's available, on the school website. On our courses website, we have PhD positions available, so you can go on and see what schools are recruiting. It's almost like applying for a job. The fees for PhD, they're listed on the fees and payment website, and it really depends on the school and the field. So I've already mentioned about the requirement for applying. You'd have to meet what we need for English language. For postgraduate, you'll have to meet that. So 6.5 in IELTS and the equivalent in TOEFL. You'll have to find out from the supervisor if they require a GMAT. Only certain fields in, say, business or finance might require a GMAT. And most of our PhDs are 3 to 4 years long.
Right.
So I think that answers all the questions.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some additional questions for the PhD study, Kim. What about family? Like in some countries, I know that if you are doing research programs, especially PhD, you can actually bring your spouse and dependents, right? And your dependents if they are school age kids, they can go to school free of charge. Government will fund their study funding for the kids in some countries for PhD or research students. What about in Ireland?
It's not typical. We don't typically have the support network there for families of PhD candidates. So they can apply for their own visa, and then they can, after they get approved, they can apply for spousal or family visa for their own family. But really the support network isn't there to help them get set up. And we do have a public school system. So if you are approved, and you get a spousal visa for your spouse or for your children to join you, you do have to prove how you're going to fund and support them while you're here as well. Because the PhD funding, it's barely enough to support one person, let alone a family. So you have to kind of be able to prove how you're going to support the family here. But once they're here, the school system is public. So there are associated costs. Not everything comes free, like books and uniforms and things like that, but the core education is public. So.
Okay, thank you. Teman-teman, mungkin ada lagi pertanyaan yang lain. Apabila ada pertanyaan lain, silahkan ketik di Q&A chat box. Nanti kita akan tanyakan pada Kim. While waiting for the others to ask you questions, Kim, I noticed there is an internship assistantship provided, right? So my question would be, internship is usually optional, right? Students don't really have to do it. Students can do it, but they can choose between internship or other programs, right?
It really depends on the program. Some programs an internship is naturally built into the program, or an internship option. Other programs, the internship option is not there. They'd have to do it in their free time over the summer, find their own internship. The programs that do have an internship option, like engineering or business or science, computer science, the support is there. There'll be internship coordinators to support the student finding an internship. In the Columbia program, the support is there for internship assistance as well. So in the programs where there is an internship option, which you don't have to take if you don't want to, if you do want to take it, you'll get support in finding the internship. Most internships are paid as well, so they'll pay you a living stipend.
Right. So usually internship is not paid, right? Or it depends on where you get it.
They'll pay you a living stipend, so you'll not be out of pocket,
Okay, so they'll still get the living stipend.
Yeah, some internship, it depends on the internship, it depends on the company. Some of the companies pay very well, they'll pay you the equivalent of a living wage. Others will just cover your out-of-pocket expenses. It depends, it can really vary.
Okay. You're talking about, I mean, in the slide, there was common entry and combination, right? So the common entry is only, is for the, just normal single degree. Is it what you are referring to common entry?
It's like where
Whereas a combination would double.
Combination, yeah. So it would be like where you have a variety of programs, you start off doing a variety of programs, like the PPS, for example, philosophy, political science, economics, and social studies. You have a wide variety. And then as you progress through the degree, you can further specialize. And then the joint honors is a common entry type of degree, because you're coming in to do 2 subjects before you can study both subjects equally, or you can specialize in one over the other if you want to.
Right, okay. So you're also talking about the eligibility for students to work part-time at 20 hours per week, as well as post-study work visa, 1 year for bachelor degree students and 2 years for the postgraduate students, right?
Yeah.
What happened to students who are doing the the program where you do 2 years at Ireland and 2 years in the US, that sort of thing?
Really, it's while they're in Ireland, they can access what's available in Ireland. When they go to the US, it's a different story. They'll only have access to what's available for students in the US. But really, the Columbia program it's a specialized program. It's very academically rigorous. They probably won't have time to work part-time because they're going to be so busy doing 2 degrees in 4 years.
Sure.
There's a lot of extra academic work, summer projects, things like that. So it really depends on the program whether the student is going to have the capacity to work or not. I wouldn't rely on part-time work for covering your living costs here. It's really for maybe some pocket money or something like that. Some programs are very demanding. They have a very busy schedule and busy timetable. Others have a bit more freedom and they might have more time to work part-time. So
right. What about the post-study work visa though? I mean, the 2 years Ireland and 2 years US students, they will eventually go back to Ireland and do the post-study work visa?
They can if they want.
To do that. They are eligible.
They'll still be eligible. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because they'll have a Trinity degree at the end. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about at the moment? What do you do during the pandemic? I mean, do you even have pandemic over there, or how do you do your teaching and learning at the moment?
This year is different to last year and the end of the previous year, that we have more in-person teaching than we have had in the past year and a half. And there's still an element of online up until reading week, which is the first week in November. And we're hoping to almost get fully back to in-person teaching from November onwards. Over 90% of our population is vaccinated, which has enabled us to be able to really get back to reopening society, get back to normal life as well. And they've dismantled some of the measures and restrictions they put in place for traveling, such as mandatory hotel quarantine. We don't have that anymore. That's been dismantled. So there's still requirements from traveling into the country, whether you need to be vaccinated, you need to have proof of vaccination. If you're not vaccinated, you need to have a negative PCR test before you arrive. You need to get one after you arrive and isolate until you get your negative PCR test. So there's still measures in place to manage the pandemic, but a lot of the very heavy restrictions have been removed, which is good.
Okay, about the vaccination, is there any particular vaccinations that the government won't allow students to get in? Like,
your vaccine has to be approved by the European Medicines Agency.
Okay.
Yeah. which Sinovac, Sputnik, they're not at the moment. So it's very important that you have the J&J 1 dose or the Pfizer, Moderna, one of those, any of the ones that are approved by the European Medicines Agency.
It's kind of difficult here. I mean, just recently they have different various vaccines, right? But the first stage of the vaccines was Sinovac. So most of everybody got Sinovac, I'm sure, but not the others. And it's very difficult to get an extra vaccines at the moment. I mean, the third vaccines is not available for public yet at the moment.
Yeah, but what you could do is, like what a lot of our students will do is they'll get the PCR test before they come. Then they'll get a PCR test when they're here. They can get a free PCR test when they arrive. And then they can access the vaccine when they're here. So we've just opened a vaccination center on campus. So any students who are not vaccinated can go or want to get one of the approved vaccines here can go and get it on campus for free as well. So.
Oh, okay. So they are still allowed to get in with Sinovac, but then get a booster kind of thing. Okay. Another question from Ms. Zella. I'm looking for a fully funded scholarship and currently on progress studying IELTS. Do you have any comment for that?
We don't offer any fully funded scholarships. All of our scholarships are partial scholarships. Unless you get some PhD, I don't know if it's at what level, there may be some PhD funding available, but you would have to access that through the school that you're applying for, or the department that you're applying for. The supervisor who's willing to take you on will know more about the funding options. But for undergraduate, postgraduate, foundation, all of our scholarships are partially funded.
Right. What about from Ireland government? Is there any fully funded scholarship available from the Ireland government, like you know?
Yeah, there is the Government of Ireland scholarship, which is fully funded, and they provide a stipend, but I know that it's very competitive. And it's not easy to get, so I wouldn't rely on it. I deal with a lot of queries around that scholarship, and it's just it's very tough to win, because you're competing with students from all around the world for, I think there's only 60 scholarships, so you can try, but I wouldn't rely on it, you know, for your funding. I would definitely have alternative funding lined up. Right.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I think one last comment from you. Do you have any message for Indonesian students who are planning to pursue and start their education in Ireland, but you know, due to pandemic, they kind of postpone it?
I would not let it put you off. You know, the pandemic. I think if you have the means and the motivation to pursue your studies, I would just say go for it. I would say that I think Ireland has been a lot more open to international students than a lot of other countries. If you're looking at other destinations like Australia, where the borders are still closed, you know, or other countries that maybe have stricter visa requirements. I think Ireland, you know, we've had our restrictions, but we've been pretty much open to students the whole entire time. If students want to come and study, we help you make it happen. So definitely, if you're thinking about the UK as well, you should definitely have Ireland on your list.
Right. So having said that, Kim, because now the border is open in Ireland, there won't be any chance for students to start off with an online semester first, right? They will still need to start to commence their study in Ireland.
Well, yes, this year they have to. I mean, they're encouraged to come. They could start online. They can make an application to start online, and that would be decided by one of the senior academics, and it's on a case-by-case basis. So there was no blanket policy on starting at home, but you do have to be here. Some classes are still online, but it's more hybrid approach. But I think by the time any student on this seminar comes study, we only have one intake, which is September intake. So it'll be this time next year. I can see the situation being very different again, you know?
Right. Maybe one last question again from Tommy about the PhD. You don't have a full e-learning program for PhD, obviously. So sometimes in Indonesia, they cannot leave his established job. Any programs for students who can work in Indonesia and finish online programs from Trinity? I suppose you said no. However, is there any chance for students to do research here while, you know, some research can be done overseas? Can they do that? I mean,
I really can't answer that question. It's going to be based on the supervisor that they work with. Like, it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
I know with the pandemic, like, people were, I know there were PhD candidates who were at home, were doing their research from home, but it was very difficult, you know, especially with time differences, accessing your supervisor, how are you going to access the library, you know, and maybe the supervisors might be open to it now more because we've had this experience of delivering education online, but it's very specific to the field and the supervisor, so I can't answer that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
thank you so much, Kim,
Thank
for
you.
being with us today. Teman-teman, terima kasih sudah stay in our platform this afternoon. Saya hanya ingin mengingatkan teman-teman melalui 5 langkah yang sangat mudah untuk supaya aecc dapat membantu teman-teman belajar di Ireland. Pertama, tentu kami akan memberikan counseling gratis untuk teman-teman mengenai program, mengenai living cost, accommodation, dan lain sebagainya. Kemudian kami akan membantu teman-teman untuk apply langsung ke Trinity College Dublin. Kami juga akan menerima letter of acceptance yang dibutuhkan. Kemudian kami akan bantu teman-teman melakukan acceptance apabila teman-teman decided untuk melakukan acceptance. Kami juga akan bantu teman-teman melakukan untuk membuat student visanya ke Ireland. Dan terakhir, kami juga akan bantu teman-teman untuk pre-departure briefing, yaitu mencarikan accommodation, mengaturkan penjemputan pada saat Anda tiba di Dublin itu sendiri. Jadi 5 langkah mudah, Anda tinggal menghubungi kami di aecc Global. Terima kasih teman-teman sekali lagi untuk kehadirannya hari ini. Jangan lupa pada tanggal 7 Oktober hari Kamis kita juga ada live session dengan universitas dari UK. Jadi tetap cek at aecc Global website untuk acara kami selanjutnya. Terima kasih. Selamat sore.
That's the thing about life. It can be unpredictable, but your dreams need not be. How far would you go to make your dreams come true? How close are you to reaching those goals set by you? While others focus on a new normal, you focus on a new beginning. Look around for what inspires you. Build your narrative. After all, it's your story to tell. Take a chance, take a leap. Begin your study abroad journey with us.
Looking for the right course for you? Welcome to aecc Global's Course Search, your one-stop platform for all your international education needs. Browse through millions of free, valuable study abroad resources to pursue your international study dream. To begin your search, type in your preferred course in the search bar. Filter by sub-course category, level of study, destination preference, tuition fees, duration, and post-study work visa. With a destination drop-down, you can search for the preferred destinations of your choice. You can also filter down courses by top-ranked universities in your preferred destination and their rankings. Browse through various career choices, and you can also browse through free student resources like articles on tips to study abroad, the latest news, etc. We are here to support you with every step of your study abroad journey. To To explore your course options, visit search.aecc.global.com.